Good day, everyone. This is Cosa Jacob, together with my group mates, Ma'am Fatima Recalde, Ma'am Ana Espinosa, Sir Marjade Ferrer, and also Sir Wayne Rejoles. First, we are touching on PQA Category 2.2, which is the strategy implementation. As you can see on your screen, we have 2.2.1, the deployment of action plans. It refers to the process of translating strategic objectives into detailed actionable steps that operationalize strategy within an organization. Deployment of action plan is a critical phase in turning strategic objectives into real, measurable results. This process ensures that high-level strategies are translated and executed through detailed operational activities across an organization. Now, I will be discussing the key elements of deployment of action plans. Translating strategic objectives into operational goals means breaking down broad, long-term aims set by senior management into specific, actionable, short-term targets that frontline managers and teams can execute day to day. This process ensures that the overall strategic vision is effectively cascaded through the organization into concrete tasks and measurable outcomes. The example that I can give you is the enhanced guest satisfaction through an improved customer service training and streamlined check-in, check-out processes to encourage repeat visit. The involved team is the frontline and guest services. This operational breakdown makes the strategic goal actionable by assigning clear measurable tasks to specific departments with timelines for implementation. Each operational goal supports the overarching aim of increasing occupancy, ensuring alignment of daily activities with the hotel's long-term success strategy. Now, the next element is cascading plans across departments and teams. Cascading plans across departments and teams is the process of structuring and aligning organizational goals so that high-level strategic objectives set by the senior leadership are translated and shared down through all levels, departments, teams, and individual employees. An example that I can give you is the infrastructure and facilities management, the upgrade of amenities to support sustainable visitor flow and reduce environmental impact. This cascading approach will ensure that destination's broad sustainability vision is translated into practical coordinated actions across all levels, enabling effective management and enhanced visitor experience. Moving on to the third element, it's setting timelines, milestone, and responsibilities. Clear timelines and milestones create checkpoints for progress review. Assigning responsibilities defines accountability for completing tasks. Integrating strategy into daily operations is the fourth element. It is the process of embedding an organization's long-term strategic goals directly into the routine activities, decisions, and workflows that take place every day within the company. Action plans must become part of the daily workflows to be effective. This integration means operational routines, meetings, performance, reviews, and decision making align with the strategic goals. An example is daily team huddles might include status updates on action plan, tasks, ensuring continuous focus and prompt issue resolution. Once again, thank you for listening. This is Cousin Jacob. Have a blessed day.
Okay, good day everyone. I'll be discussing category 2.2.2, resource allocation and prioritization under the Philippine Quality Award Framework. So this subcategory emphasizes how organizations effectively manage and align their resources, which are financial, human, and technological, to support their strategic goals. So what does this mean? Resource allocation and prioritization is about ensuring that the organization's resources are directed towards its most important strategic initiatives. So it's not just about distributing budgets and manpower. It's about strategically aligning these resources with what truly matters to the organization's mission, vision, and performance goals. So, resource allocation ensures that every peso, person, and process supports strategic goals. So, in the context of the PQA, this reflects how organizations make evidence based and balanced decisions to sustain operational excellence. As for the key components or core elements of resource allocation and prioritization, the first one is aligning financial, human, and technological resources. So this means that the organization integrates its budgets, people, and technology into a unified plan that supports its key strategies. So the second one is prioritizing initiatives, which requires identifying programs that will generate the most value or impact. So leaders must be strategic, ensuring that limited resources are directed to initiatives that strengthen performance or competitiveness. The next one is managing risk and constraints. So this involves anticipating barriers such as funding shortages, skills gaps, or time limitations and finding proactive solutions to mitigate them. And lastly, we have supporting strategic goals with infrastructure and capabilities, which ensures that systems, facilities, and competencies are in place to sustain operations and long-term growth. So each component here ensures the organization invests in what truly matters to achieve excellence. So, for instance, in a university setting, resource allocation could mean ensuring that the budget prioritizes faculty training, digital infrastructure, and accreditation initiatives. So human resources are assigned based on expertise and workload, while technology is invested where it can enhance student learning and research efficiency. So by aligning these resources, the institution ensures that every peso, every person, and every tool contributes directly to achieving its strategic plan. So, universities must align budgets, human resources, and technology towards academic excellence. As for the importance to PQA and performance excellence, effective resource allocation is essential for performance excellence because it strengthens organizational agility and responsiveness. It also prevents waste and inefficiency. It builds accountability across departments and it ensures sustainable achievement of results. So, through clear prioritization, organizations can make decisions that reflect their long-term vision while maintaining yung day-to-day operational excellence. So, to close, the resource allocation and prioritization ensure that an organization doesn't just have a strategy, but the means and discipline to execute it successfully. So, it embodies one of PQA's core values, which is to focus on results through strategic alignment. Thank you.
Thank you so much. To continue the report about effective strategy implementation, tools and techniques. So, effective tools for performance monitoring. So, we've discussed already the scorecards, align metrics with goals, dashboards, enable quick decision making, KPI success, assess success. So, let's dive into the effective tools for performance monitoring. So, these tools are pivotal in ensuring our strategies are on the right track. So, first, so let's talk about scorecards play a crucial role by aligning metrics with goals. So they ensure that everyone is on the same page and working towards the same objectives. So this alignment helps maintain focus and drive performances. So next is the dashboard. So they enable quick decision making by providing real-time data at a glance. And of course, imagine having all critical information in one place, allowing you to make informed decisions swiftly. So lastly, we have key performance indicators or KPI. So these are essential in assessing our success. So they help us measure progress towards our goals. So think of them as vital signposts guiding us on our journey. So using scorecards, dashboards, and KPIs, organizations use tools like balanced scorecards, performance dashboards, and key performance indicators or KPIs to measure progress. So these tools translate strategic objectives into measurable outcomes. Next, we have tracking progress and identifying gaps. So this is very important, especially in every organization, like for timelines, for tracking progress and identifying gaps. So first, you'll notice the breakdown by weeks, as you can see in the monitor or in my PowerPoint presentation. So this structure helps us systematically monitor our task and ensure we're staying on track. So it's essential to keep a sharp eye on how each week contributes to the overall project goals. So in every organization, schools, hotels, in aviation or a resource like in every industry. So we have this, we need to track progress in identifying gaps. So monitoring actual performance against targets, spotting areas where performance falls short. So not every plans, like it will go perfect, but sometimes spotting areas where performance falls short, but analyzing causes of underperformance, like exploring methods for data collection, analysis, and interpretation to uncover performances gaps. So this tracking progress allows us to catch potential issues early, like enabling us to make necessary adjustment before they become significant problems, and that's very important for every organization. So this proactive approach is key to effective management, especially here in school. So they also monitor our task weekly, monthly, or quarterly. So this identifying gaps is just as crucial. By regularly reviewing our progress, we can pinpoint areas that need extra attention or resources. So this not only helps in staying aligned with our goals, but also in optimizing our strategies for better outcomes. So next topic. So let's move on to reviews and feedback sessions. So weekly reviews, monthly reviews, quarterly reviews. So it's very important. So when we say weekly reviews, these are your go-to for staying agile and responsive. So they help you quickly address any immediate issues and keep your team aligned on short-term goals. So monthly reviews, these sessions offer a slightly broader perspective, allowing you to assess trends and make adjustment to your strategies as needed. So quarterly reviews. So these reviews, this is strategic checkpoints that you can evaluate overall progress toward your long-term goals and make proactive changes. So this one is particularly in academe. So we also have these weekly, monthly, and quarterly reviews to check, of course. Uh, the feedback sessions not only help in identifying gaps, but also foster a culture of open communication and continuous improvement. So by consistently reviewing weekly, monthly, or quarterly, so you ensure that your team remains focused and efficient, ultimately driving success with the organization. Last slide is the data-driven decision making and resource allocation and goal redefinition. So with this as at its core, this approach allows us to make more informed and strategic choices by analyzing hard data rather than relying solely on intuition. So one of key benefits of data-driven decision making is more effective resource allocation. By understanding where our resources are most needed, so we can optimize their use in every areas, like ensuring that they are applied where they will have the greatest impact. So this prevents waste and maximizes efficiency. So additionally, data can help us redefine our goals as new data emerges. So it provides insights into trends and areas of opportunity. So this allows us to adjust our goals to remain aligned with our overall vision and respond agilely to changes. Like it's more on flexibility. So not all your plans will fall into place, but let us all remember using data effectively can transform how we approach decision making and making our strategies more robust and future proof. So that's end of my report. Thank you so much. And
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Tina, and good morning, classmates. And this will be my discussion this morning. So it's all about communication and stakeholder engagement. So stakeholder engagement are the critical components of successful strategic management. Even the most well-designed strategy can fail if it is not effectively communicated and embraced by the people who are responsible for implementing it. So engaging both internal and external stakeholders ensures alignment and also transparency of mutual accountability throughout the organization operations. So, on communication and stakeholder engagement, we will be looking into the four communicating strategy across all levels, building commitment and ownership, engaging internal and external stakeholders, and lastly, promoting transparency and accountability. So, in communicating strategy across all levels, uh, we have clarity and consistency. So, when we say clarity and consistency, it is a strategic messages must be clear, consistent, and free from jargons. That this will help avoid confusion and ensures the strategic objectives are uniformly understood. Next, we have two-way communication. So leaders should not only disseminate information, but also listen to feedback from employees and partners. So this promotes inclusiveness and a sense of a shared purpose. Next is tailored messaging. Tailored messaging, it is a communication should be customized for different levels of the organization. For example, executives will focus on long-term goals, while operational teams need actionable guidance. And lastly, mediums and tools. Strategies can be shared through meetings, digital platforms, and also newsletters, dashboards, and internal forums to ensure continuous awareness. Next is building commitment and ownership. We have number one, inclusive participation. So inclusive participation involving team members in the planning and decision-making process enhances their sense of ownership. Next is empowerment and accountability, allowing individuals to make decisions within their areas of responsibility, encourages initiative and personal investment in outcomes. Next is recognition and motivation. Acknowledging contributions and celebrating milestones reinforces commitment and foster a positive organizational culture. While leadership influence, leaders must act as a role models, demonstrating integrity and enthusiasm for strategy. Next is engaging internal and external stakeholders. So stakeholder identification and analysis. So recognizing who are the stakeholders are understanding their interests and influence that helps design appropriate engagement strategies. Next, building relationships. It is a continuous dialogue and collaboration with stakeholders, foster trust and cooperation. Next is we have feedback and mechanism. It is a survey, a consultations, and a public forum that allows stakeholders to express their views and provide valuable insights. Next is shared value mechanism. It is the strategy that should align organizational goals with stakeholder needs, creating mutual benefits. And lastly, promoting transparency and accountability. Other than that, we have the open communication. So open communication, it is a regular update on goals, progress, and challenges should be shared openly with both internal and external audiences. Next is reporting mechanisms. So performance reports, audits, and dashboards communicate results and allow for public security, scrutiny. Next is ethical conduct. So it is a transparency reinforces integrity and minimizes risk of corruption or mismanagement. And lastly, responsibility tracking. It is assigning clear roles and performance. Metrics ensures that individuals and teams are held accountable outcomes. So this would be the stakeholders in engagement, promote open communication, and direct direction to the goals and objectives of the institution. Thank you, everyone, for listening. And
Morning. My report is about agility and continuous improvement under the topic PQA Category 2.2, the strategy implementation. So the PQA Category 2.2 emphasizes not just implementation of action plans, but also how organization demonstrate agility and continuous improvement in executing their strategies. So what is agility and continuous improvement means? So this means how the organization first respond quickly to internal and external changes. Next is how the organization adapts action plans when needed. Also, how the organization learns from execution and integrate lessons into future planning. And lastly, how they improve processes based on the performance feedback. So the agility and continuous improvement has four elements. First one is the responding to changing conditions and opportunities. So this means how quickly and effectively your organizations respond to change. In the hospitality and tourism industry, responding to changing condition and opportunities means being quick to notice and react to shifts in guest preference, travel trends, technology, or even sometimes government rules. Like for example, if a traveler suddenly prefer eco-friendly accommodations in a hotel, so the hotel might adjust its services by offering a green package offerings or promoting its sustainability efforts. So responding to change also involves using guest feedbacks and booking data to make a smart decisions, like changing room rates during peak seasons or adding new amenities. And this also means empowering employees to make small changes. Like for example, adjusting a tour schedule or offering a special discount without needing the approval of the top management. So this kind of flexibility helps the organization stay competitive and meet the customer's needs effectively. So next element is encouraging innovations and adaptability. So the encouraging innovation and adaptability means creating a workplace where employees feel free to share new ideas and try better ways of doing things. This could be as simple as the front desk staff suggesting a faster check-in process or a tour guide designing a new route based on the guest interest. So the organization allows room for testing these ideas even if they don't work perfectly at first. So leaders should support these efforts and understand that taking smart risks can lead to great improvements. So when a staff are flexible and open to change, when they are recognized and appreciated, they help the whole team grow and improve together. Next is learning from implementation outcome. So it means taking time to reflect on how well a plan or a project was carried out and using that experience to improve future efforts. In the hospitality and tourism industry, this could involve reviewing a newly travel package to see if the guests enjoyed it, if the bookings met expectation, and what could be done better. So staff and managers discuss what worked and what didn't, and they share lesson with other teams. If something didn't go as planned, like for example, low turned out or negative feedback, it is seen as a chance to learn, not a failure. So tools like PDCA, the Plan, Do, Check, Act, help guide this process, making sure improvements are part of everyday operations and aligned with the organization's goals. Lastly, aligning improvement efforts with a strategic direction. So this means making sure that every change or upgrade a business like hospitality and tourism makes is connected to its long-term goals. Making sure that all departments from housekeeping to marketing are working together toward the same vision rather than doing separate things that don't support the overall strategy. For example, if a resort strategic goal is to become a top wellness destination, then improvements like adding a spa, offering healthy menu options, or training staff and wellness services should be prioritized. So these efforts aren't just done because they are easy. They are chosen because they help the business grow in the right directions. So performance metrics like guest satisfaction scores or repeat bookings can be used to check if these changes are working. And to summarize, so in the and tourism industry, agility and continuous improvement are essential for staying competitive and meeting the ever-changing needs of travelers. First, organizations must be quick to respond to changing conditions and opportunities, such as ships and travel trends, guest expectations, and government regulations by adjusting their services, packages, or operation accordingly. So second, encouraging innovation and adaptability means creating a work culture where staff are empowered to suggest new ideas and try out better ways of serving guests, like offering contactless check-in or personalized tour experiences. Third one, learning from implementation outcomes involve reviewing what worked and what didn't after launching a new service or campaign and using that feedback to improve future efforts. So this could include analyzing guest reviews or tracking booking data to refine offerings. And lastly, aligning improvement efforts with the strategic direction ensures that all changes support the organization's long-term goals. So every department should work together toward a shared vision. So these four practices help hospitality and tourism businesses stay flexible, innovative, and focus on delivering excellent guest experiences. So that would be all for my report. Thank you.